Hello everyone, my name is Dennis and I'm with Donkey Security here, or Donkey Sec, whatever your heart desires. And in today's video, we're going to be going over the TryHackMe SOC Simulator. And in this subject, we'll be doing the introduction to phishing. Looks like we got a bunch of alerts here, and I'm going to be doing these ones first because they are easier. However, if there was a severity such as high, critical, or medium, I would obviously do those first instead of the, low severity ones. Okay, a suspicious email was received from an external sender from an unusual top-level domain. Note from Sockhead, this detection rule still needs fine-tuning. So which that means is like the rule still needs tuning, which it can have an increased chance of being a false positive. False positive means that a system, the security system, incorrectly identifies the alert as a malicious activity. But obviously, us as the analysts will go through the alert and determine if it is false positive or not. Looking at the email, you want a free trip to Hat Wonderland. Click here to claim. And we can't really analyze the content because it says the content of this email has been removed according to privacy regulations and whatever. And there is no attachment. Yeah, so if there's no attachment, there's no content to be analyzed. The only thing we can do is look at the domain, which is this right here. First step, we can go to VirusTotal and we can see if this vendor has been flagged malicious. So yeah, after going on to VirusTotal, just see the domain, we would go to any run and we would submit the URL and click that. Click copy and paste that URL onto here, run a public analysis. We can see, the actual website, and there are no threats. I don't think the website exists. There's a bunch of advertising. Obviously, you don't want to click that. But here's an example of an actual URL that is malicious. Do not go to this URL on your own operating system, please. And it's going to be scanning and it's going to open up the URL. And as you can see already, there are 10 threats associated with this URL. Just a IRL example of what the AnyRun software does, and it does scan at least 10 threats of this URL. So yeah, we can add this to our queue, take an ownership, write a case report, false positive, write our rationale. I'll just say, obviously, we want to be as descriptive as possible, but it's just a simulator, so we're just going to say ran virus total, deemed that the domain is not malicious, and ran any run sandbox threat intelligence stated that the domain is not malicious. Then we just click submit and close alert. Spelled malicious wrong, but you know what? It's okay. Nice. Close our first alert. And what a great restart. Let's continue onto the investigation. So this one right here is suspicious parent-child relationship. A suspicious process with a uncommon parent-child relationship was detected in your environment. So this means that the parent process, which is the SVC host exe executable, spawns in a task host w executable, and the system flagged it as a uncommon, relationship between the two. So our goal is to determine whether if this process parent name is the same, or excuse me, is common to be spawning this executable, or is it uncommon, such as a suspicious executable that has been spawned using this command line and this directory right here. The first thing I would do in Splunk is to look at the process PID value. I'll just type this, search, and then obviously we have the first source, 160252, should say that, yep, 160202. And this is what the registry key spawns. And it looks like just a printer and with the path. And this says friendly name, and I would assume if it says friendly name, then it means it's friendly, and which means it's a false positive. And obviously, I just wanted to double check my work, go to registry value, friendly name, and then it does spawn a process called spools.exe. And just researching, it does say that it's a Windows service that manages the print spooler, which handles printing and faxing jobs. So yeah, this is ethical and this is not malicious at all. So yeah, this right here, the service host, it involves with all of the system services. So that's why Windows System Services directory has been spawned. And then the process, this right here, the task host, it just is a task scheduler, which I would assume is a task scheduler that prints spooler service, caches the print job to memory, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, false positive. So now we got 2 more alerts to go. Now, they're the same phishing emails, I would assume, but this time they both have attachments. So yeah, we're gonna do ID 1004 So yeah, we're gonna do ID 1004. Attachment was found in the email. Investigate it further. And this time there is no note from socket saying that the rule needs fine tuning. So the rule is perfect. So we definitely need to analyze this. Yeah, so it looks like we have to see the attachment force update. TryHackMe.com. I think if we just go to virus total, I think it's just TryHackMe. They don't want to say TryHackMe on the app or on the SOC Simulator. I've been rickrolled. That's awesome. The first step is to open up Force Update with Notepad. So look at the script via Notepad. Says the script crafted by Yanni from IT. Here to save the day. Contact him at Yanni Zubair. So looking at all this, it forces a Windows update. It runs system diagnostics and it collects the system information, network configuration, and installed programs onto the temp files, and as well as running processes as well. And then it says, generates files to Yanni again. Me personally, if I knew who Yanni is, I would definitely send him a message saying, "Hey, did you write the script?" to make sure that it's actually his work, not a hacker impersonating Yanni. If I don't know who Yanni is, I would classify this as a true positive, and I would block the proxy of his sent mail message to that domain, because it's collecting a lot of information. Your processes, the programs, network configuration, system information. So yeah, I would write this as a false positive. So yeah, we have one more alert left, and I am 100% sure this is the true positive because we went through all 11 alerts. They're all false positive. Now, we do have a XYZ domain here, makes it a little bit more suspicious, and the recipient is a TryHackMe employee, and it does give the user some credibility to open it up as soon as possible because it does say important and it does say pending invoice. Invoice is misspelled, and it does have the exclamation sign, make it more, user side to open it up as soon as possible because it's important. Yeah, first thing I would do, I would just go to VirusTotal, just analyze this domain really quick. And there are some suspicious vendor analysis of the domain. And like always, I would go to anyone and see what is up with this domain here. Let's run a public analysis again. Yeah, it seems like we can't reach the page. Doesn't mean that the content is still not malicious though. We're just looking at the domain. We still gotta look at the attachment, and if there was content, we would analyze the content being said. Yeah, I would click right here, do PowerShell.exe. Click ls just to make sure the file name is there. Get file hash invoice.pdf link. And now we have the file hash right here. Virus total. Paste it there. No comments. You can also use any run here and find the hash, but you have to pay. Well, I have to pay, and I'm not sponsored by any organization, so Another option here is to get file hash again and do minus algorithm and then the MD5 hash. Now let's copy this, what we get on virus total. Yeah, so we got no comments for the search. And still, if we had a AnyRun subscription, we would go here and still don't have the AnyRun subscription. But yeah, this still doesn't mean the attachment is still fine, because we still need to look at Splunk and see if the user has opened up the attachment and what the attachment does to the user's operating system. So what I would do, go to Splunk, search for everything, and then in the since, we change it to since in the date and time range, we would want to do the date and time of the timestamp of this alert right here. So 3/4/2025, and then I would just copy all of this, paste here, and I clicked apply. Then I would go all the way from the 5th, original alert, and obviously it says pending invoice. Okay, so now we're going to 4 now. And I'm just trying to scroll until I see something that is obviously first related to our investigation, and second that, an attachment, after opening the attachment, some executable has been opened as a result of the attachment. So this one almost got me, but the file path is force update.ps1, so obviously we signal that as a false positive. Okay, here we go. Yes. So outlook.exe import. So we can tell that the user has opened the zip file. 49, 50, 51. Not 3 seconds. 4 seconds. Not even 4 seconds. There has been a PowerShell exe process that has been opened. And we do see another hint here. GitHub being spawned in by PowerShell, which is a chance for attackers to use GitHub to insert a malicious payload onto the system. We want to look at the, the command line execution details. We do see the GitHub user content PowerCat map PowerCat.ps1. So after doing some research, the malicious use of PowerCat is to create backdoors, exfiltrate data, establish remote access, and also something that was familiar with me was the TCP.ng rook, which is a service provided by that company, creates temporary tunnels from their local machine to the internet. Attackers use them to create remote access tunnels. So attacker creates, the tunnel onto their system. This gives the attacker the public address, and then any connection to this address is forwarded to their local machine, which bypasses the company's firewalls. This is dangerous because, network firewalls and security monitoring tools is completely bypassed. Getting full remote access and data exploitation and persistent is possible with the data exploitation techniques. Yeah, it looks like the goal of the attacker was to exfiltrate data, right? Both communication streams establish redirects data between streams. Yeah, so now let's make this as a true positive. Nice victory, security breach prevented. Nice. Yeah, man, this took me 3 hours to make this video, but I learned a lot. And yeah, we successfully prevented a security breach from happening. If you guys did enjoy this video, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you when I see you in my next video. Peace out.